Hi, my name is Anne, and I'm the host of Taken Questions. And today I'm speaking with Anne Garnier, the CEO and co-founder of Lisa Health and the Midday App, an app that maximizes support for women in menopause and healthy aging. Welcome, Anne.
Thank you, Anne, for
This makes
having
it
me on the
easy.
program.
We
Exactly.
we both have the same name and no E, so that makes it easy for both of us.
Right.
My first question for you is, what trends are you seeing emerging in the tech space for women in general, and then more specifically for women who are in menopause?
Sure. Well, obviously, I'm super excited by the fact that we're seeing more women starting companies to address women's unique needs. So, women solving problems for women. It's usually because someone has experienced a problem firsthand, and they were quite frustrated at the lack of the solutions that were available, the poor design, perhaps not tech enabled. So I think really we're seeing this wonderful trend where the entire approach to women's health is being challenged and redesigned. And that's from the in-person visit to how we support people of different backgrounds. So becoming more culturally competent,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course just more functional products and products that have a lot more technology in them.
Right, and I think that is why we created Women because there
Yes.
was nothing out there in the marketplace that was speaking to this woman, helping her during this life stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Now, you asked about the menopause market. So I think there, technical innovation has taken a few different forms, but because you're in this market, menopause technology or in just products and services really lag behind other women's health sectors.
mhm.
And, that's really a function of, the fact that there's still, despite this being the largest women's health market and one of the largest, healthcare segments in general, investment really lags. It's clearly an underserved market, which is interesting because women 40 plus, they're the most economically powerful in the world. So, it just doesn't add up. But, I think we are working to catch up. There's new solutions like Midday that's using AI and sensor technology to really transform this life stage for women with the technology solutions they have come to be accustomed to. But then also encouragingly, there's other high-tech devices that are coming on market that will be impactful on how women manage different symptoms like painful sex, for example.
Right, right. I mean, there's something like over 34 different symptoms that
Yes.
that you experience when you're in perimenopause and menopause. And so now, why now? Why now? Why is now the right time to create these tech solutions that are helping these women in menopause?
Well, as you just mentioned, you've got 34 possible symptoms and innumerable combinations that change over the stages of menopause and then are really influenced by each woman's unique physiology and
Mm-hmm.
other characteristics, including things like childhood trauma, which they've just discovered recently is influential on the timing of menopause and menopause symptoms. So it's an extremely complex life stage. And then, of course, you've got sort of a perfect storm because not very many physicians are actually trained in menopausal care.
Right.
So most women, historically have suffered in silence. Now you've got, Gen X women who are coming into this life stage. So that's, around age 41 to 55. And they're used to using technology, right? They've probably used it to manage pregnancy or fertility journeys or other aspects of their health. And these technologies, by the way, I mean, they've been used widely in healthcare to address virtually every other condition. So really, we can, I think, transform. In our view, it's the only way to transform the menopause journey in the way that it needs to be is using the power of technology and data to really truly understand what's happening to women's bodies during the menopause life stage, and then deliver, highly personalized therapeutic strategies that not only provide relief, but in the moment, right? Or, over a period of time, but then can adapt as women's symptoms and bodies change. So, we believe that women shouldn't have to be blindsided or suffer through years long cycles of trial and error, trying to figure things out and wasting money. I mean, the technology really does exist to accelerate, everything from knowing what stage of menopause you're in and when you're likely to reach menopause to, reducing the frequency and severity of different symptoms. So you can actually, face the day with energy and joy instead of feeling fatigued and anxious and some of the other debilitating symptoms that women experience.
Sure. And all of it is building blocks, right? Like if you're not sleeping well and then you're not eating well and you have the brain fog on top of the night sweats and the hot flashes and all of these things can then lead to anxiety and depression and all of the symptoms that we see. So tell us some more about the Midday app and what our customers should know.
Sure. So Midday is an app that's available in the App Store currently. And as I mentioned earlier, we're using, what we call deep tech, which is really artificial intelligence, which has been around for a long time, commercial wearable technology like your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, which many women have, and then digital therapeutics to support women on their menopause journey, really using personalized insights that can illuminate for them what's happening physically and emotionally, and then providing the right intervention at the right time to manage menopause symptoms and also promote healthy aging, because women are at high risk of chronic disease during this life stage as well. One of our top features is our science-backed menopause assessment. What we found is that, the number one question for many women is, well, where am I at in this journey? And so our app is able to tell them that with a high level of granularity, but then also help them to track that progress. So, you don't have to feel blindsided. You know what to expect. You are prepared, because those are things we heard over and over again for women that were problems. And then, of course, women have a broad range of needs. There's many symptoms, but they also have preferences of how they want to manage those menopause symptoms. So, rather than just directing women towards maybe one type of therapeutic, say hormone therapy, we've created this end-to-end platform that provides, everything from alternative and complementary medicine strategies that have evidence to products from, top brands like Woman S, which our users love, by the way, and then and then virtual care with menopause specialists. And then we've got, of course, lots of science-backed education and other tools. We heard from women over and over that they really wanted this one stop. They just felt very confused when they went online, by having to sort through all of the different resources and options. So we basically have done all the legwork.
That's great. I mean, as somebody who's a 52-year-old woman, I've been in perimenopause, I think, for what feels like 30 years. I have no idea when this ends, and the gaps between my periods keep getting longer and longer. But I don't, but you don't know when. And my doctor, and I'm sure that so many women experience the same thing. You go to the doctor, you get your blood test, but nobody is really pinpointing for you where you are in this journey. I have no clue. I have no clue when it will end, when a new symptom will pop up. Sometimes it is the night sweats. It certainly is the brain fog all the time. The weight gain is a big thing, that middle section weight gain. And the thinning hair, I mean, all of these things that I'm experiencing, but the heavy bleeding. And so you're kind of ping-ponging all over the map, and nothing is helping you sort of take it all together, curate your information, and then help you with a roadmap to give you a better quality of life.
Well, we're doing that and more. So download the Midday app and you'll find out exactly where you are in the journey.
It's a very easy user experience.
Yes.
You talked about the generation that grew up with technology. I somewhat grew up with technology, right? I'm not as technology savvy as I'd like to be, but the interface is very easy when you download it, and it asks you very specific questions about yourself and your journey. It's even somebody like me can do it.
Well, that's great to hear, because that was a top objective for us. Well, so, I mean, while we use advanced technology, it's in the background, that's
Right,
where it should be.
right.
And what we want is to make the entire experience for women easy, engaging, and personalized.
Correct, correct. You don't want her to come to this experience and get more frustrated.
No, exactly.
And so
Exactly.
I have to say it was a very, very easy process to download it and to put in my information. And the app tracks hot flash frequency, time asleep, activity steps taken. Can you tell us, why did you choose those specific categories? And then how that helps women understand the menopausal journey?
Well, we actually track all of the symptoms of menopause. We just do it in a more clever way, so it's less burdensome to women. You really don't need to track many of the symptoms on a daily basis. Other apps, they they ask you, every day, log your symptoms. Well,
Right.
there's really no point. If you have vaginal dryness, it's not likely to change from day to day. Using a therapeutic, you're more likely to see change over a few weeks to, maybe a month or two. So, we don't want to unnecessarily burden women with a lot of self-report, which is also why we wanted to integrate with wearable technology. As I'm sure, a lot of women have Fitbits and Apple Watches and other devices because they love to track their steps. They may be very interested in their sleep. And so that's data that, is that we, with user permission, of course, can get through the wearable technology. And so we don't have to ask women about those things, and they may not remember. So we actually have very objective data that's able to deliver what I call more contextualized insight and then therapeutic relief. If you think about it, if you go into your Fitbit app, the things that are there are largely designed around, people in their 20s and 30s. So we're trying to create an experience that is contextualized for women in midlife, right? And making recommendations and providing insights that make sense to them. Now, hot flashes, we do have technology that's coming soon, and we can talk about that in a minute, that does automatic detection of hot flashes. But we do have a hot flash log. Now, hot flashes, number one symptom of menopause by a wide margin. 80% of women will experience them. It's the most bothersome, and they do last for, unfortunately, 7 to 9 years. So that's a really long time to be uncomfortable and very likely to then suffer from hot flash related sleep disturbance. So you mentioned a few minutes ago, you have night sweats. Well, actually, you're having hot flashes. That is, also producing this sweating. You just are not as aware of the hot flashes as you are of the sweating. But when you use Midday, and even for a week, if you just log your hot flashes, you can get insights into your patterns and what is potentially triggering those hot flashes. So when you understand what your triggers are, then we deliver, recommendations and strategies that help you to manage the or to reduce the severity and frequency, right? And in fact, we have a broad range. We have, for example, a very unique immersive meditation that we've developed that's patent pending, and it uses really cool science-backed techniques to change a woman's perception of being hot to cold. And women are pretty blown away at how that works. But it's, a completely holistic strategy. But if women are what I call hormone therapy curious, because hormone therapy, then the main indication for that is hot flashes. We have inside the app a hormone therapy decision support tool that helps women understand whether or not this is a therapeutic strategy that's right for them. And then women can then request an appointment with a menopause specialist at the Mayo Clinic to really, fully explore the full range of options for managing those hot flashes.
That's great, because that is something that can also be so disruptive in the workplace.
Oh, yes.
And if she is able to manage this and get in front of it, it will first and foremost help with her anxiety about having hot flashes in the workplace. As somebody who gets up and does presentations, there's nothing worse than knowing you're about to get a hot flash as you're talking to a room full of people. But to be able to not only know when that's happening, but
Yes.
help control it will also help with the anxiety of hot flashes in general, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. So part of managing hot flashes is learning just how to cope, so that you have techniques that can reduce that anxiety. For example, paced respiration is a really easy technique that works for a lot of people, and you don't need anything to do that. You just need to, for example, use our paced respiration programs in the app just to learn how to do it. And then you can do it anytime. And not only for hot flashes, but for any other situation that's causing you a lot of stress or anxiety. It's just a great, quick way to diffuse that. And then we have other mindfulness programs that can teach you these coping skills. But again, understanding triggers then we can start working with you on behavioral modification. I mean, when I started logging my hot flashes, it was an eye opener, right? Like, wow. Okay, X% of my hot flashes are actually due to stress, some to caffeine, right? So then you can start to modify your behaviors, and you actually will see a reduction in hot flashes.
Well, having control over it, because this feels like this is a space that is so uncontrollable, and not knowing the answers. And so having that knowledge will just go such a long way for women in this life stage.
Absolutely.
How do you hope to see the Midday app expand? What is your wish list for the future?
Sure. Well, we have a big vision and a roadmap that's packed with new advanced features. But since we're on the subject of hot flashes, coming soon, we have novel patent pending technology for hot flash detection in real time and prediction. So I think we can agree that this is a game changer.
Huge game changer.
Yes, game changer for the number one most bothersome and prevalent symptom of menopause. So, just as you said a minute ago, we're taking a highly unpredictable and difficult to manage event into one that can be predicted and managed. And in my book, that is revolutionary. And you'll also see some new interesting technology around sleep, specific to the menopause life stage. And the rest is top secret.
Well, I want to know, when is it over? When can I stop counting the 12 months? I was doing this with another woman where we thought we were getting through it, and then darn it, nope, mine started again, and I had to start over from day one.
Right. Most women do have menstrual cycle irregularity. So they'll have a period 1 month, and maybe they won't have a period for another month or a couple months. I kind of characterize it as it's kind of sputtering, right? Because, I think a lot of us could say, like, you could time your period just so reliably, it always occurred at the same exact time every month, your flow is about the same, and now all of a sudden everything's changing. So, reaching menopause naturally is defined as going 12 consecutive months without a period. And if you go 11 months and then all of a sudden you have a period, the clock does start over. The clock does start over. But typically when you're starting menstrual cycle irregularity, having those hot flashes, you're probably within a 1.5 to 2 years from reaching menopause. And then, you're considered postmenopausal, and you're postmenopausal for the rest of your life. But testing is not considered useful by the experts. Your hormone levels are quite erratic on just even within the day. And so most physicians find that that's not a reliable way to predict if you're in perimenopause or when you're going to reach menopause. Your best bet is to use our app and our science-backed algorithm.
Oh, that's great. That's great to know. Other than the Midday app, are there other things in this tech space that you like? What are your favorite other tech areas that are your favorite and why?
Well, I would love to cite a long list of favorite technology solutions for women in the menopause life stage, but the problem is that there are actually very few. Now, I'm excited about Medora's non-invasive, non-hormonal device for vaginal dryness. It's not on the market yet, but hopefully it will be soon. Materna Medical actually has a device called the Millie, which helps with painful sex. Let's just kind of characterize it that way. And they're doing extremely well. And I think it's a great alternative. There's also a company called Onut that has a very clever and simple device for painful sex as well. And so I think, these technology solutions are terrific, and they tend to get top marks from menopause experts. Taboo has, a great, what I call entry-level vibrator. I mean, not every woman in this life stage has used devices or sex toys to help with things like vaginal dryness, lubrication, painful sex, or, difficulty having orgasm. But really, it's really a wonderful way to work through some of those issues. And doctors, oftentimes recommend that. Of course, you should visit your doctor. We're not dispensing medical advice, but I think getting over, some of the kind of shyness or stigma around some of these sexual wellness devices, we're starting to see more and more of that. And then I think for sex therapy and coaching, Rosie is an app that was created by a physician and a sexual wellness expert. And I think she's Dr. Lindsay Harper. I think she's done a great job. Now, technology aside, I still have to give a shout out to many of the other companies in the menopause space. I'm really loving the new brands that are designing products for skin, hair, vaginal care, specifically for women 40 plus. I mean, this is so long overdue. And there's, certain symptoms like dry skin, urinary incontinence, vaginal dryness, where, the first line of therapeutic is an over-the-counter product. But not long ago, if you went to your drugstore, there weren't a lot of products, and the aisle is just so depressing, right? Very outdated, obviously not designed by women, women tending to not like many of these products. But, now, gosh, there's so many more options that are coming on market because they were designed by women for women. And I like to call it the revolution in my bathroom. So
I like that. Trademark that. I like that. And because women don't, these companies are breaking this taboo, right? That it's not that walk of shame, walking into the store trying to find sexual wellness products. The packaging is more beautiful. The conversation is now coming to light. It really is a much better place to be at this time in your life, to have these products that can give you the solutions and make you feel better about yourself.
Absolutely. I don't think women are embarrassed anymore to, throw a bottle of vaginal lubricant, into their basket at the Target or, one of the drugstores, because we have progressed in this conversation. I think, women in midlife have taken a lot of inspiration from younger women who are, quite open about, their menstrual cycle, their sexual wellness. And I think it's awesome. It just feels so good to be where we're at.
Right. It's wonderful that whenever I go to a cocktail party and people ask me what I do, and when I tell them, the conversation just opens up and goes to very, very fun places, because women do want to talk about it.
They do. And men, you'd be
surprised.
Men.
The men love to talk about it. We often get a lot of men too, because they want to help their partner. They want to see her happy and comfortable and flourishing. And so, listen, we're all in it together.
Absolutely. Well, I was speaking at a conference recently, and most of the audience was men. And, I implored them to, stand with us women and, help us get the supporting care that we need. That it's going to take, all of us to make this happen, right? And it was, resounding applause. So I was very excited that everyone was so enthusiastic.
That's great. It's so great. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time today, Anne. And for our consumers, how can they find the Midday app? What's the best way to do it?
Sure. Well, they can go to the App Store and search for Midday or Midday Menopause. They can also go to midday.health if they want to learn more. And there's a button there to download the app as well.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you. It was so much fun.
Yes.